picture I said that I would be able to find for you that you were asking about. This is just the outer part of the tree, so everything in this bracket here is paraderm. What's at the red arrow? Epidermis. So, so one of the questions in the early part of the lab was, can you see an epidermis in any of these? And certainly is when you're starting with the herbaceous dicot stem, the answer is definitely yes. When you get to your 5-year-old stem, the answer should be definitely no. But as it's going through the transition, it's still there, and at some point it's not. And you can see here it looks, it's present, over here it's thinning out. It's because it's stretched. I mean, this is literally is that the tree's growing in diameter and the epidermis is stretched and it snaps and it dies. But it's replaced by periderm, which is composed of 3 layers. What's the layer here that's distinctly reddish? And the cells are very thin. And both vessels and periderm. Cork. Cork. And some trees form incredibly thick cork like we have in the back. Most trees is very thin. This is cork parenchyma. What's the layer of cells? That's the first layer of cells that you could say is very distinctly different. They actually look like cells compared to these pancakes. What would this single layer be right through there? Cork cambium. Cork cambium is the meristematic layer that formed all this. And then all the rest of this is cork parenchyma. Collectively, many layers thick is the periderm, and that would be, in this older tree, that would be all of this. And if we went back to this magnification, it would be pretty much all of that right in there, although it's harder to see at this magnification. Okay, thinking question for you. This is what you frequently see on wood, like take a piece of plywood or wood paneling, and you can see these light dark patterns. This is not dyed, not painted. What forms the light dark patterns? Any idea? Springwood, summerwood. So if you go back to, let's go back to this picture. Here's springwood, and here's summerwood. And here's, some of you were asking me this, and here's the simple question. What's going to stain darker on this, or just in wood in general? Air or cell walls? Cell walls. And then another question in the lab is, which is stronger, air or cell walls? Cell walls. Okay. Why are cell walls darker? Well, just look here. You can see in this is that where you see the center of the vessel is, there's nothing there that's going to color it, so it's very light. And then once the growth slows down, you have proportionally more cell walls, that's going to appear darker. So you can see that, you can just barely see this on this specimen, but you can better see it on the ones over here in cross section. And when you make lumber out of something, there it is. And that's springwood, summerwood. So what I'm trying to get you to do is don't go beyond just looking at compared slides. You can actually see a lot of this stuff if you're out and about. And take a tour through a grocery store. Take a tour through Lowe's or Home Depot. You don't have to buy anything. You can review for buying. Oh, who cares? They'll look at you. They'll be jealous. Say, oh, look how studious they are. Okay, that's what we covered at that point is where you need to spend most of your time. The last part of this is comparisons. So let's go through the comparisons. The compare and contrast. Here in what I have a couple minutes. No one. Pine stem. Okay, we got a late start. Resin duct, bark, and then all this stuff here. I'll make sure I get through all of this. What's all this red? What tissue? Or what cell type? Either one. It's not fibers, because there's no fibers in conifers. It's xylem, so it's kind of xylem is the tissue. And then what type cell would it be? And here it is enlarged. Tracheas. This is the first time we've really talked about tracheas, and this is what the lab said. Tracheas tend to be very angular. Look at how angular that is. And you look at all the vessels, things we covered before, vessels are very round. But here's the true difference, and here's where we're going to end, and I'll finish this up next week, but we better want to go overtime, unless you want to do it. Look at this in longitudinal section. Do you see where, if you imagine water coming up this, it reaches a dead end. And then it has to go out these pits. So this is exactly what we talked about in lecture earlier, is where tracheas are, they have their end walls, and the water goes up, then it has to zigzag. And you can clearly see what a trachea is in a longitudinal view. And if you have a longitudinal view of a vessel, all you see is a tube, which is like what you might see like right here. This is vessels. This is a big tube. And this is a big portion of a big tube. Okay, that's tracheas. Conifers don't have fibers. Wood is not as strong. Very thin areas of parenchyma. And there's no vessels, so there's only two cell types in xylem. There's only two. There's parenchyma and there's tracheas. Okay? Do you want me to continue with this? Okay, how about this? If you want to go, you're free to go. If you want me to continue to go over this, because we did get a late start, I'll do it, and then I can do it again next week. So that's up to you. So if any of you are here, I'm going to be here anyway. I'll go over. So I'll start in a couple minutes if anyone's here. And if you're not, pack up and go.